Welcome to this seventh video of the tutorial of Amira, where I will explain how to process 2D surfaces as a result of the segmentation. So in the previous video, I was keeping the surfaces uh, directly generated from the pixel. I introduce a little bit the tool of um, resampling. However, there is a much more elegant and proper way to simplify surfaces. And this is what we are going to talk about in this video. So, first of all, is mm, it can be useful to add some materials to our segmentation. And I'm talking about the regions where we are applying some cuts. So for example, this is the heel, so I am cutting it into two parts. And what can be useful to do is to add some materials that sort of cover the cut, okay? So in this case, I'm using two of them. And this is because if we don't add these two blocks, um, all the smooth things will smooth out, for example, this line and this corner, for example. This will create these regions to be harder to mesh in the next steps. So if we want to keep a 90 degrees angle and everything nice and like sharp and smooth, then we need to add, for example, these two. Also, one big block would not work, so an L block would not work because that then we would also have this sort of smoothing. And so what I suggest is to add like plain blocks. So once we have done, we have added these two blocks, we can go on project and we go on our segmentation. So in this case, it will be cropped AM. This is what I just showed. Um, at this point, we can generate a surface. So create, and we don't want any smoothing, and we can apply. So now it will say that this will create a rather big surface, but actually this warning is totally wrong because it's arriving in the wrong moment. Because after this step, we will actually start simplifying our surface. So that warning is really useless. At this point, we have a surface, and we can also view the surface. So this surface is, as it said already, like full of triangles. Full of triangles. It's very heavy. Um, so what we need to do is we can go on this surf, and now we have these two tools. One is surface editor, and the other one is simplification editor. So we will use both of them. Um, so we can start with simplification editor. So here there is simplify. So we start with, well, 1,200,000 faces, basically. And we can reduce it. This is the number of faces we can reduce this. So it's good to not do very sudden changes. So first of all, I would start, for example, with maybe 100,000. And then we go fast and simplify now. So we need to wait for the thing to process everything, okay? So we can already see some changes, okay? So here you start seeing some big triangles, for example. And here also the dimension of the triangles is a little bit different. They are quite bigger. Here we can see the amount of faces that we have. It is 99 100,000 basically. So at this point, we can go on this surface editor. So surface editor will actually show you us all the triangles. And there are, this also adds this menu. This can help you to fix elements of these 2D surfaces. But we will not use this um, because there are two tools. So also this surface will appear. And then we can go on edit. And the most two important tools that we will use are refine faces and smooth faces. So in this case, we can apply smooth faces, okay? And we can do it a few times. So it's good to try to maintain these the shapes of these two blocks. I think that these two blocks can give a sort of idea of how much we are smoothing stuff inside. If they are too much smooth, they change their shape too much, then you should try to re-see the order that you are giving these commands. And actually then what we can do is go on surface and refine faces. So refine faces will add faces. um, okay. And then we can do again, for example, smooth faces. So we keep going like this for a while, and we also repeat the simplification editor. So right now we have where 400,000, so we can go back to, let's go back to, well, 80,000. So the idea is to slowly reduce the number of faces. Okay, it already looks better. So we can edit smooth. So let's go on 40,000. Okay, you can see now the triangles are strongly, the amount of faces is starting to be quite reduced. Okay. Um, so let's do 20,000. And so on. So I believe that now we have 20,000 faces. That is quite, it's quite a good number. So now when we will export this surface, so for example, in the Amira, in the hypermesh, we will export also these two files, these two blocks. But then in Amira, we can easily remove them. And also consider that, so I don't know if, well, let's see. Yeah, if you go inside, this will not show you the internal divisions. But this is totally wrong. So this is another sort of stupid thing of Amira, because there are the internal divisions. So he's not plotting them, but they are there. Maybe if you add this, no, well. they are there. So don't be afraid that Amira is removing internal divisions. So this will be much easier than to work with, for example, Hypermesh, because the surface is much more simple and simplified. Okay, so this was all, and see you.